Hello, everyone. We are your landlords, flooding and tapping out so you don't have to, with the occasional screw. It happens. So, my name is Graham. I go by HamHocks42 on the internet, and I'm joined by the one and only Astralsflame. Astros, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Ham. You know, the end of the year is coming. We've got some sweet stuff going on. The new year is happening. How you doing, bud?
Doing well. 2022 has been a heck of a year, and I'm hoping that 2023 is just that much sweeter. So, yeah, it's like I'm hoping. I know, like, we've launched this show, for example, in 2022 alongside a whole bunch of other projects. I know you've been working your tail off on some stuff, and
Mhm.
I have too. And we've made some great headway, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds in 2023.
Yeah, I
So,
am. I
good
am
stuff.
as well. If I may, I think I'm excited to see you get the check mark.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. It's fun. Yeah. So I'm pushing right now to try to get a partner over on Twitch, twitch.tv/HamHocks42. I could really appreciate and use your lurk, dear listener, dear viewer. If you want to help me out over there, I stream in the mornings, Eastern time, and yeah, we just have a lot of fun. But I'm getting close. Like I got the opportunity to actually apply, which was a brand new thing. But my first application got rejected. I'm hopeful that it's a matter of time. We'll get there. It's just a question of when. And hopefully it's in 2023 at some point. We'll see. But that's neat. But at the same time, and this is, I'm just going to share the story for just a quick, I'm going to soapbox for just a second.
Absolutely.
For this moment, I'll soapbox on other things later. I have no doubt because that's what I do. But when it comes to the end of the year, it's easy to look back at the year and think about the things that didn't happen. Like I submitted an application for the Twitch partnership, which is a goal that I've been pursuing for 3 years. And I thought, how sweet would it be to end the year getting that? And I was denied. And so I'm a little disappointed. I am. However, there's a lot of other great stuff that happened this year, including one thing that it sort of like came and went, and for one day I was like, "That's neat," and then I just kind of went on and did my thing. And that is, I did get partnership on YouTube. My personal YouTube channel
Oh,
got the YouTube partner program and is monetized. That happened this year, and that was a big deal. But I didn't really appreciate it because it was overshadowed in my own personal perception by this other goal that I was just focusing more on. Meanwhile, I just hit that one accomplishment and just kind of brushed it off. It's like, wait a minute, no, that was neat. Let's celebrate that, And I guarantee that you, dear viewer, and Astros, I have no doubt you're in the same boat. We all are, right? We all have those things. Like, you accomplished a lot this year. It is easy to accept a win, whether it be big or small, and then forget about it and move on. The end of the year is a great time to reflect on some of those things and really appreciate those wins. I mean, just think back in January, February. I mean, we were all different freaking people back then.
absolutely.
I have a feeling you did some really cool stuff back then that you haven't thought about in a long time. Now's a really good time to dust off some of those, some of those photos on your phone or some of those posts on social media and see what you were up to, because I bet it was cool stuff. So, put that out there. Anyway,
I don't even remember what I did back in January and February. That was like ages
to be
ago.
honest, I don't either. Yeah, I'm going to take my own advice after this and go look at what I was doing because, yeah, it's been, every year is full of both wins and losses. Let's appreciate the wins, learn from the losses, and move on to make the next year better. So, like, if Twitch partnership happens in 2023, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm still going to keep streaming and having fun because at the end of the day, that's what I'm there to do. So, anyway.
Hey, you know what though? That's no,
Yeah,
it was a fine soapbox because I think that gives a great idea for us to have homework for tomorrow. So we're gonna have a really cool live stream of the landlords on Twitch on New Year's Eve. So this episode will go live tomorrow. I'm gonna rush to get it out to you. You get a double taste of the landlords. You get the Saturday morning live as we've been trying to promise for months, and it's gonna happen. We guaranteed at least one episode to come out on time this year, and we're going to live up to that, despite the fact it's at the end of the year. But there's also going to be a live recording. Still counts. That's it. And so the still counting is we're going to have a live recording on New Year's Eve tomorrow. And I think Ham and I, we've just got some homework. We should go look back and name the top 5 things that we loved and wanted to celebrate of MTG this year to ring in the new year with. I'm going to write this down in my handy dandy notebook so I don't forget. So this is the
I'm making a note right now.
Top 5 things we did in MTG 2022. Okay. Written down, highlighted, score. It's on my book. It's on the homework. It's not missing.
Oh, good. There we go.
And,
so that is in Yeah, that
Amazing.
is going to be something we talk about tomorrow. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that. It's going to be fun.
So, tomorrow we'll talk about the fun, the reflection to bring in the new year. Today, we're going to talk about the products and review of 2022 and what we were dissatisfied with. And honestly, what still could be and might be a good product, but delivery may just not have been as well. The marketing may not have been there. A whole lot of reasons why we just think these products need a review and hopefully get taken a look at in the next year. So, Watsy,
Yeah.
when you're listening to us as the landlords, him and I free for hire here, slip into our DMs, little. We're open. We're consultants.
Yeah, don't worry. And our consulting fees are exorbitant, but we're worth it. I promise.
Absolutely. These condos don't pay for themselves.
I mean, clearly, look at these. I mean, yeah. These clearly not green screened environment, facilities that we're in are not cheap. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is our regional offices. Just wait until you check out the home office. It's great.
Oh man, it's beautiful. You're
Absolutely.
gonna love it.
But with that, products in review of 2022, and we've had a lot. Like, I lost track. At least one product a month, not including secret layers.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like secret layers are kind of their own beast. We have to kind of just look at them separately. But yeah, we've had the sheer volume of products that are getting released right now is pretty staggering. I mean, we've had a lot of big name content creators whose literal day job is to keep track of products that Wizards is putting out and relay information about them. Say, I can't keep up. So the casual fans, I mean, kind of what hope is there? And I don't know about you, Astros, but I've had the experience sitting down at like Spell Table Commander games where like, all right, cool. I feel like I spend a lot of time looking at Magic cards and even studying like older Magic cards that maybe I haven't had a chance to play with. Like, I feel like I know the staples and I know the hits in most formats. If a card has made a splash in the last 20 years, I feel like I've at least heard of it and I have an idea what it does, you know? But sitting down at commander tables where people are being a little more creative with the deck brewing. Oh, and for the last 3 years, I've been making content and focusing on all the cards that have been coming out. Yep. So like, I feel like I know stuff really well. People are playing cards that I have literally never seen before and never heard of before that came out within the last 2 years.
I'm in the exact same boat. It is.
And it becomes so hard to keep track of board states. Well, especially over something like Spell Table. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like credit on Spell Table. Spell Table helps to track, but like
true.
We may know what's going on in the format, but with all the product in the last year alone, I think if I remember hearing from it was either Star City Games or on the RC. I forget the source. I won't directly try to quote. But 2022 was the year with the most release of legendary creatures that could be commanders. Mm-hmm. And that's insane to me. I think the number was something like 400 plus.
That's what I heard too.
Which is crazy to me. Like,
and those are just the commander face cards. Like,
like, how do you 400 new commanders? Like, I'm all for new decks and new styles and cards and stuff, but like 400 new ones, like how do you even go about trying to like that seems like way too much to me.
Well, and this is within 1 year. That's 365 days. They were printing at more than one legal commander per day for the entire year. How are you supposed to get excited for the new thing that you get to build when you will literally get a new one tomorrow?
Yeah, it's so like what? Like Monday, there's that Rack Commander. So let's say, hey, Monday, I'm gonna brew the Rack Commander. Great. Oh, it's Tuesday. I guess my Rack Commander's obsolete. I better go build that new Yeti that just came out. Oh no, it's Wednesday. The Yeti's obsolete. I better go build the new Urza. No, it's Thursday. It's Thursdays. There's 2 commanders that came out today to meet the quota. I guess I gotta double down today, and it just.
Yeah, and these are 100-card decks that are going to need a Lightning Greaves, a Soul Ring, and a Swiftfoot Boots. So, anyway. And we wonder why Soul Ring is still like $2 or $3, despite the fact that it's been printed into oblivion. But anyway, sorry. Literally. It's a whole other tirade. But
it's true, though.
Yeah, and legendary creatures is just one kind of metric that you can gauge that off of. And we're not even talking reprints here. These are just brand new creatures. And then there's the other side of the story. Like, we're just talking about the sheer glut of products that we're getting now. But on top of that, like, think about it from a story perspective. A legendary creature used to be an important figure within the multiverse.
Yep.
That was they were an important character in the story, which is why they got a legendary card. I mean, I'm sure there's some examples of like, you know, cards that were kind of or legendary, cards that were underrepresented in story in the past. I've no doubt those exist.
Mhm.
But for the most part, if it's a legendary creature, they probably have some kind of backstory that you can find in some place somewhere. Now we're at a point where they're putting so many legends because of those 400 new legendary cards that could be commanders. How many new unique characters were there? Tons.
Yeah, like
Like
literal hundreds.
hundreds, right? And so, yeah, is there like, well, I mean, look at just like New Capenna, for example, all the different 3-color characters. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you have all the different guild leaders like Xander, you have Jetmir, you have and they showed up in the story, they did stuff, they were relevant, and they're key characters in the story. Also, our girl Ziatora, gotta show some love.
Absolutely.
So they were important, but at the same time, there were a whole swath of other, like 2 and 3 cards, like like I don't know, like Agnes, the Dragon's Lash, like the Jund,
Yep.
like guy that like creates treasure tokens when hasty creatures attack. What's their deal? Like I'm assuming it's he. I don't even know because
I believe Agnes is a she, actually.
Oh, is Agnes a she?
Yeah.
I believe you. I didn't know that.
No, I think, but either way, yeah.
I'm not aware of that character. I am. Like who are they? Like what are they up to? I have no idea, and I have like I don't know. Is that story out there? I genuinely don't know.
I don't think it is because like in the same boat, like just in the Riveteer side, there's Mr. Orfeo the Boulder. Like
yes,
and that card's a cool design. What's the story with Mr. Orfeo? Why the Boulder? I mean, it's a sick name. Don't get me wrong. Like I'd love to go in the ring and like I'm the Boulder. I'm gonna crush you. But like, what's the dealio? What's the story?
Yeah, I have no idea either. And yeah, exactly. He's mechanically, Mr. Orfeo is cool. They got a sick name. They're a freaking rhino person. Like, what's not to love, right? And on top of that, like, I get the vibe. Well, and we're just talking about Riveteer's legends here. They go all the way down, and that's just in the main set. We're not even talking about the commander specific cards that they printed.
Yeah.
Like the commander precons and all that jazz. That's a whole other boat and a whole other world of stuff. So, I guess the question that we're kind of getting around at the top, and I guess I just want to like friggin' throw it out there. Are they printing too many new cards?
It does feel that way. Like I'm all for introducing new stuff and new product, and like I love a diversified meta in every type of set I play, and getting to open packs of new stuff is great, but there is a over the top, there is a too much, and I think this feels like it's too much. I especially if we look at the amount of the cards that are being printed versus the amount of them that are actually being played. Like between all the sets, like let's start with standard because we're both very familiar with that meta right now. Between what would be Kamigawa currently to Brothers War, every set has approximately 5 to 6 cards roughly from each set that has made an appearance or is a staple in the meta right now, give or take. Is like something we can kind of name. Like we can name the Emperor, we can name Fable, we can name Titan, right? Industry Titan. They're like Boseiju. We've got that.
The Channel Lands, Fables, Mirror Breaker, those kind of things from Kamigawa. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, there's just those things we know that stand out, but then there's like a bunch that just kind of set aside. And I mean, those are just our standard sets. You take the standard sets, and now you apply them to Pioneer. Pioneer hasn't had any supplemental sets come out this year, but if we extend that a set further, there was, the Modern Masters. Modern Horizons, if I recall now correctly. There's the Commander Legends that feeds into Legacy, the unsets. If 5 to 6 cards are usually playable from what is in the main standard set, suddenly we've now just increased that from what would be approximately, 4 set releases in standard of 2022 to what is probably 10 plus for the other formats of Commander, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, etc. And if 5 to 6 cards of all those are playable, think about the massive cards that are not being played from the rest of those sets. That's at least a couple thousands of cards, at least, because every set's like 200 cards.
Yeah, most sets are around. Yeah, I think most sets are between 200 250 cards. Unique named cards. And you're
It's
exactly right.
huge.
Yeah, about 5 of them actually see play. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah. And actually, just out of curiosity, one card that I remember from looking at Kamigawa Neon Dynasty at this point, that released some time ago now. So I feel like we've seen some. It was
Yeah.
early this year, so we've seen plenty of time. I feel very confident that we know what are the good cards from that set. And one that I thought was amazing when I first saw it, and to be honest, I've had a couple games where it's gone off, and I stand by it, is Jugen Defends the Temple.
Yeah.
It's a green 3-drop mythic saga that it creates a little mana dork monk when it first enters the battlefield, puts counters on your stuff, and then it flips into a dragon that can become absolutely game-breaking if you have a large number of modified creatures on your side of the battlefield. With cards like Defiler of Vigor and, Cathar's Crusade and older formats, that's not hard to do. So, and it also puts counters with any excess mana you have lying around. Like, it's just a ton of value on a 3-mana saga. And we see Fable the Mirror Breaker, a rare, with a ton of value on a 3-mana saga that is just, it's worth tons because it appears in a ton of different decks with good reason. That card's busted. But
Absolutely.
Jugen Defends the Temple, similar vein, but it's even rare. It's even more rare at Mythic. And it's going for, I could get a near mint foil unplayed copy right now for about 80 cents. And if you don't care about it being rare, it's like a quarter. 50 cents, it looks like.
Oh,
But
that's fine.
okay, 50 cents. I mean, I was going to spend more than that on a Coke at McDonald's. So like this is nothing. Like it's dirt cheap, and that's a mythic from a set that came out this year that is pretty darn powerful. It's just it's not powerful enough, and it doesn't line up well with anything else that exists right now. So it's just out there, and that's frankly a good one. There's a bunch of bulk that's like genuinely bad that is just with the ones that you open, like Fateful Handoff from Brothers War. Like I've been trying to make this thing work. I'm gonna figure it out, dang it. But like it's one of those when you crack a booster and that's your rare, it's like you want to throw the whole thing in the garbage in frustration because like this is nothing. This whole thing was completely worthless. And chances are out of all those 15 cards, I mean, unless you got some bomb uncommon, they're all probably not going to be worth anything. And
it's
yeah,
true,
that's a bummer.
Yeah, and like it only gets worse the more product that gets printed. Or especially like when you're forced to buy in like to tons of product too. So I think when we were talking initially, like let's look at when we talk about a standard set now, kind of going in that vein. Let's use Dominarian Brothers War because this will tie in, I think, to the point of a product called Jumpstart. So we're going to segue into a Jumpstart discussion. So Dominaria Reunited? I forget what it was.
United.
Dominaria United came out. Dominaria had a draft set, has a set booster set. That's fine. You know what? Set boosters are great. I think draft boosters are great. Produces your limited environment. It's fine. And then Jumpstart Dominaria came to be a thing. And, back in when Jumpstart first came out, it was this really cool set. You grabbed a pack. It had this theme. You push two of them together, shuffle it up, and battle it out. And then that was your go-to deck. And the concept in itself is great. The value of the cards, fantastic reprints. But it was nice because it was like a once-a-year kind of print. Let's put some cool stuff in. But now it's been Dominaria United, Jumpstart. And the cards that were printed in there were not anything of reprints. They weren't anything kind of value per se. They were some picks from Dominaria United in roughly 5 to 6 packs of a type. And that was in the box, and that's what you got. And then Jumpstart happened again for Brothers War. So now we're looking at a draft set, a set booster set, which I'll kind of combine them together. So you've got the main release of a set, Dominaria United, Brothers War, but then you've got this other supplemental set, Jumpstart. And the Jumpstart cards are not potentially legal in Standard. Some of them are only Eternal format legal. And then it happens on every set, and now you suddenly got a box of Jumpstart and a box of Standard of the set you want, and then that trickles into more and more. So now you're looking at 2 boxes a month instead of 1 a month if you can afford that, or 2 packs instead of 1 pack. And
yeah,
that's product fatigue. I love Jumpstart. I don't think it's right to do Jumpstart as a product per standard set. It's slightly hot take. I do think they have the right idea of having the standard set have a kind of themed booster aspect. I won't stick on this long because I could go on for this for a while. I'd rather, if I had a direction for this, I'd rather they call it Jump In, and it's like a small little set you can buy like 2 mixed packs of at like your local game store if they want to buy it, and that's it. They're just fun little things for like intro packs. Make that a small print run, do that. That's fine, but don't call it Jumpstart and don't tag it with the standard set. I think that was for me a bad thing that happened this year on a great concept.
I'm 100% on board. I completely agree. And the reason that Jumpstart, yeah, it's so weird. Like what they ended up taking, they had Jumpstart last year, and they have a new set coming out, Jumpstart, or that just came out, Jumpstart 2022. Yeah, which is all like there's some reprints, there's some like a ton of new cards. They're Legacy and Commander legal. They're not in Modern. They're not in Standard. They're just like fun Magic cards. Go nuts. And like you're saying, you can like do limited environments with your friends, like do limited sealed, where you literally just take 2 20-card boosters, crack them open, shuffle them, boom, you have a deck. You don't even have to look at the cards. You can just shuffle them up and play blind and see what happens, you know? And that's something you can do. With the Jumpstart packs that are tied to the standard sets, you can still theoretically do that. However, if you get a box, like if you get a full booster box of Jumpstart or Jumpstart 2022, and you open a pack, you are going to get one of something like 30 or 40 different themes. You know, you might get the Wizards pack. You might get the Birds pack. You might get the Urza's pack. You might get, you know, zombie packs, whatever. You know, like I got, you know, and I played a couple original Jumpstart, you know, games back in the day, and I got like Wizards and Walls. Like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but let's shuffle it up. And it turned out the gameplay was actually really fun. And the deck was full of like one-ofs, you know, so every game played differently, even though you're only using a 40-card deck. Like it was neat. It was fun. And everything, like they fit a lot around the themes in cool ways. And it was very clear that a lot of intention and a lot of focus from the designers went into crafting that gameplay experience that came out of those packs. The problem with the standard set tie-in Jumpstart packs is that, for one, there are only 5 themes in the entire set, and they are all monocolored. And so there's one for each color, and that's it. And then each one of them has one unique card. That's it. I mean, like the rest of them are all cards that are in the standard set. Which, if you just want to collect the standard set, that's fine. But then why would you bother buying this goofy Jumpstart product?
Yeah.
Like, and on top of that, the 5 cards, I know the ones that are top of mind, the 5 cards from Brothers War, honestly, completely candidly, they're all terrible. Like, all of those cards are just unplayable. Like, if one of them turned out to be like a chase card in some top tier deck, then sure, the product could sell. But at the end of the day, they're so far away from that. And to be honest, that's good. I'm glad we're not having to like chase down some fringe product just to get a playable card. Or we don't have a card that's like okay, that's all of a sudden worth like $40 because they're barely available, you know, because they're in for some pack nobody bought. Like, that would be a bummer. I would hate to see that. So I'm glad that they're not playable. But at the end of the day, like if I buy a box of Dominaria Jumpstart or Brothers War Jumpstart, cracking those packs is going to get really exhausting really fast. I'm going to see the same thing over and over and over again, and it's all going to be mediocre stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
the packs are just bad. Like, it's yeah.
How many you could open? Like 10 Artificer's Dragons. Standard Old Star Artificer's Dragon.
Exactly. Yeah, Artificer's Dragon is one of them. You got what is it? The Terror Ballista, like that. Oh, yes. 5/4 for 7 with Unearth. Let's go. Like, it's rough, man. And I've tried building. I've actually on Arena. I've tried building some decks around those cards just to see, like, even from a jank perspective, can they work? I was like, they are rough, man.
Yeah.
Like they're just difficult. They're just difficult to make work, which is a shame. Because yeah, it's just one of those things. At the end of the day, you look at the product, it's like, who's this for? Like, is it truly just to help new players get started? Because they could do so much better.
They could. Like, kind of with the products in review, I feel like the marketing of the products could have been a little bit better too. So before we started recording today, I was showing Ham the slightly on the secret lair topic, it was the Just Add Milk secret lair. And they had this whole commercial with like hand puppets of like Ulamog, Italia, and Galta. And it was like 53 seconds long. It was great. If you haven't seen the commercial, absolutely watch it. But like that is I think an example of a good product, because there have been a ton of secret lairs, but in terms of secret lair value and marketing and everything, I think that approach of a secret lair was great. Couple cards with value, semi decent price point because at least you're getting value back for cards, and great marketing. It was just fast and easy and quick. And I'd like to see more product kind of like that, with that type of idea of fun marketing. Like, give me a couple sets, like give me a standard set every few months, give me a cool commercial with it, keep having the stories with it, and I think you got a good methodology to keep product flowing without this, hey, let's have the standard set, the jump in set, and let's have these other sets, and then throw in the commander deck stuff with the commander sets, and then let's sell some $1,000 proxies. Because
why not? Yeah.
I think that's 2022 right there. That is
2022. That's the bottom line. Yeah. Just, I don't know, print more of it. They'll buy it. It's fine. Just push it out there. What are they gonna do? Not buy it? And well, actually, we saw this year that it does appear that there's a breaking point. Because we saw a couple of details. The Q3 earnings report came through, and now I'm my consulting is based around product design, not finances. So I'm not I'm not a guy to really like break down the T's and C's of that particular document. However, the general consensus was the Q3 numbers did not look as good this year as they did the previous year.
Yep.
They were not trending in the direction that Hasbro clearly wants. That tells me people are getting to a point where they're voting with their wallets and they're saying, this is too much, I'm out. And as people are saying that, I mean, that's going to be a problem. And if that continues, then we have a real issue. And with the Magic, the Magic 30, which you touched on there, the $1,000 proxies, which I don't even feel like we need to give a description of. We all know that story. Meg, my goodness. If you're watching a Magic podcast, I'm assuming that you're familiar. That whole debacle, that was clearly Wizards just giving the entire player base the middle finger. Because, like, these aren't even real cards, and they're going to cost you $1,000. And it's funny, because every analyst that I heard, and myself included, going into that sale, was like, these things are awful. They're the most predatory garbage that Wizards has ever put out. They're terrible. Don't buy them. But they're going to sell out.
100%.
Like, we all just assumed these will sell out. And then when it came time to actually, when the sale opened up, it was live for 45 minutes, and then Wizards took it down with a tweet saying the sale has concluded. Not, we have sold out, product is no longer available. They said we have concluded the sale. And it's like, a legal team wrote that.
That's definitely legal T's and C's.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's been a lot of gripe about it. I do think I'll give a positive note about the 30 of a product review for this. I think the idea of releasing those older cards as proxies was a cool idea. To call it the collector pack was faulty. The way it was marketed was faulty. If they had just said this is a collector item and framed it around being a collector item and not $1,000 collector item, I think the price should be much lower. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah,
if you call it a collector item and say this is for celebration of the collecting bit, I think the reception might have been different. Like that.
100%.
But again, they didn't do that. They didn't call it that. They charged $1,000, and it's probably the worst thing of the year. And I hope they learned from it. I really hope they learned.
It's so funny too, because that product could have gone in two different directions, and both of which I think would have been perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
They take the exact, they do exactly what you're saying. Create, like, they could have taken just like the Power 9, put it in some like resin framed case with some certificate of authenticity with Richard Garfield's signature printed on it. Charge $1,000, limited quantity to celebrate the 30th anniversary, specifically for whale collectors.
Yep.
Fine. I'm not buying it, but cool. If somebody wants to have that for their display case, absolutely go crazy. You kids have fun. And I see zero problem with that existing.
Absolutely agreed.
None. There's no issue with that whatsoever. They could also have gone the other way. Here's a pack with you could even make it 3 packs, not even 4. Let's go ahead and say 3 because that's a draftable amount. Like if you're going to a draft, you bring 3 packs. That's just the traditional, that's what you do. Like that's the format. So you give me 3 packs of beta, effectively what this is, and give me the player an opportunity to draft beta. That's something I've never been able to do. I will 100% pay a premium for that. Give me 4 or 3 of those packs for $50.
Yeah,
I'm buying that. All of a sudden, and I'm trying to talk 7 of my friends into buying it too, so we can get a draft going. Or play sealed or something like that's, or buy 2 of them, get a sealed pool going. I don't know, like that would have been great. Like here's a chance for you to experience drafting beta for everybody who's invested in the game who wasn't around back when it started. If you want to see what this is like and how far we've come, here you go. That would have sold like freaking hotcakes. I think people, they could have even charged $100 for that, and I think people would have bought it, and nobody would have batted an eye. Even people who didn't buy it would be looking at it and go like, that, for the people that's for, that's pretty good, that's solid. But at $1,000, that was a slap in the face to absolutely everyone, and nobody liked it.
Yeah, and like even after that, because when Magic 30 rolled out, they had extras that they threw into the gift bags of certain people, and by certain people I mean if you bought the most expensive Magic the Gathering ticket for MTG 30, you got a free collector pack. But yeah, there's a lot of ways, and I like the draft idea would have been great. Like let this be a draftable thing for an experience. Like $50, $100, yeah, you know what? It's not for me. But the concept of being there for the chance to do it, yeah, I'd probably have paid $100 for that one-time experience to try drafting beta. Cards wouldn't have been legal. That's fine. It's just the chance to have tried it.
Yeah, I get to actually have this draft with my friends or at a local game store. We have this experience, and at the end of the day, I have the deck that I made. It's not legal, but it was a fun experience. It's fun memory. I had this little 40 card thing, maybe a couple of extras that I picked up that didn't, in the pool. And who knows? Maybe there's power in there. And yeah, okay, it's not playable, but it's neat. That was fun, a fun time. How many cards do you hang on to because they were part of a deck that maybe you don't have anymore, but like was meaningful to you at one point? Like I have a copy. My very first commander, I took it apart. But the very first commander I built, I took the deck apart because it turned out to be like really violent stacks, and I was like, I don't want to be remembered for this. But and looking at it, it was Savra, Queen of the Golgari, and
yes.
That's what she does. Like, so it's like so I was looking at it, I was like, could I build this in a way that's not stacks? It's like, no, not really. So so I ended up taking it apart, but I still have that card. That's in my binder, and I'm really I like that card because I'll always remember that. And so that for me, that's meaningful because of an experience. We all have those cards. We all have those little strips of cardboard that are meaningful to us, even if they don't have any secondary market worth. Like if you want to pick up a copy of Savra, I'm pretty sure she's about 20 cents. Like you can just go do it.
Yeah, she's not very expensive at all.
No, it never has been. Which but but that one was special to me because it was the one that I had lying around in my collection when I figured out what this new commander thing was, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna build that. Let's see what I can do, and And that's the kind of value that these Magic 30 cards would have had to players if you had given us an experience with them. But instead, it was treated as a collector item loot box. And it's those 100% the wrong way to do it.
Oh, it is. And like those collector pieces are going to forever be tied to a hefty price point because of the price to get them and now the scarcity of them, for how little they may have been open. Because I'll tie this into a slight tangent. If we look at the gold border, because they have the proxy symbol on the right that they've done that says 30s, and then the back it says this is not an actual MTG card. They've done similar type of printing for cards back in the 90s with the World Championships deck. So you could buy a World Championship deck. The back would say World Championship deck. This is not a standard legal tournament card. You couldn't play it. But in one of those World Championship decks was a gold-framed Gaia's Cradle. And that, in essence, in that way, was a proxy. To buy that version of a Gaia's Cradle that is not a legal Magic card, that cannot be played in formats, aside from a Rule 0 casual environment of Commander, where your friend group says it's okay, What should be a 20-cent proxy is $300 for a gold-framed unplayable card. And that's what these are. These are unplayable cards that you can only put into a deck if your friend group says it's okay, and they will be hundreds of dollars. And that's not right.
No, that's kind of messed up. Yeah. Well, and it's funny too because these have that guy's Cradle literally has the exact same legality as a basic forest with Sharpie with the word Cradle Sharpied on it.
Yes, exactly.
It has the exact same legality as that. And the playgroups who would be cool with the one are probably totally cool with the other one too. So it's not, so you're right, that is silly. And on top of that $300, example, that's probably for a busted up one that's been kicking around for over 20 years. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Gaia's Cradle is one of those cards. Is just bonkers expensive, and it always will be. It just is what it is. And to the point where even the not real versions and the beta cards from this Magic 30th edition, I mean, if we're talking about Gaia's Cradle, is one example. If you compare that to the Moxen or Black Lotus, I mean, the numbers, like the price tags, like they hardly compare, because like an official, I actually pulled it up, looking at the listings for an official Gaia's Cradle, depending on the condition, it looks like it's going to net you, I mean, for even a pretty crappy one, like one that's pretty busted up, it's going to be at least around $650.
Ugh.
We're looking at probably around $700
Yikes.
for one Gaia's Cradle. That's a lot. But when you compare that to, the Moxen, or a Black Lotus, actually, to be honest with the Black Lotus, it's even tougher to find like actual market data because so few of them actually move in any given year. But I mean, we're talking thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like easily. I think the cheapest Black Lotus like I've even heard of, which to be fair, I'm not really nose to the or ear to the ground on the market, but like I've heard of Black Lotuses selling pretty typically for around like $40,000 or $50,000.
I mean, there is like the rare, I think it's the beta ones that sell for 40 to 50. There is the unlimited ones that you can get for between 5 to 10, depending on condition.
Okay.
Because it goes by type of border and set it was in. Betas are the rarest. I think unlimiteds are the most common. Not to say that a Black Lotus is a common card, but hey, for $5,000 you can buy an unlimited Lotus at like 5 to 10. There you go.
Oh, is that it? Oh man, that's a steal.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I did pull it up on TCG Player. There are some alpha Black Lotuses listed. I have a feeling these have been listed for a very long time. The cheapest one damaged is $59,999, so $60,000, and it is listed as damaged. That thing could be folded in half, and they're gonna charge $60,000 for it. Like, yeah, get out of here.
Forget about owning a home. Own a damaged Black Lotus.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. So that's like, yeah, it's
ridiculous.
That's the kind of thing. And so yes, a non-tournament legal proxy, but official from Wizards of the Coast printing of a card that can merit that kind of price. Yes, it's going to be worth something. I have no doubt there are people trying to sell Magic 30 Black Lotuses right now. And they're probably asking around like 5,000, and I have a feeling nobody's buying them. I don't know about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Because at the end of the day, it's a picture of a Black Lotus. And frankly, it's not even a particularly good-looking one, if you ask me. But that's just me.
I actually have the price here for
you do? Excellent.
Magic
what
30 Anniversary Edition Black Lotus that clearly says not tournament legal, $2,000.
No, thank you. Yes.
That is a $2,000 proxy, of which you could spend...
That is a $2,000 bookmark, is what that is.
Or you could spend 20 cents at a printer and get your own.
Yep. One of the best jokes. I wish I could give credit where credit was due, but I forgot like the tweet author's name. But one of the funniest jokes around the Magic 30th edition, somebody actually like clearly printed a copy, like just 4 copies of Black Lotus on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I said, "Hey guys, I got an uncut sheet of Magic 30th Black Lotuses." I was like, "Oh my goodness, that is the best."
That's so good. That's so
That joke was
good.
amazing. If you're watching this and you were that tweet author, please link it in the comments below, because I want to give you credit. It was amazing. I was like, that's brilliant. I love it. Anyway, so just saying, like, and
Yeah.
and it's funny too, because even if you do not currently have a printer and enough ink, if you get a really good one, is going to cost you like $300 compared to
Thereabouts, yeah.
2,000. And you could also then print other stuff. You know, like, it's just like, it's just a good thing to have.
The entire proxy collection of Magic the Gathering can be yours for $300 today. Otherwise, you can spend $2,000 on a proxy you can never use anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Seems silly to me.
It
Yeah.
does.
So Magic 30th anniversary was easily the biggest flop and like the biggest kind of black eye. Because on top of, not only are we talking about it and laughing about how absolutely absurd the product is, there were mainstream media outlets that do not talk about Magic the Gathering, pointing and laughing at how ridiculous this thing was. Like, there is no world in which you can sell this to even the like even the greediest collectors. It's funny. One of the other things I was curious about is there's a channel on YouTube called Alpha Investments. You've probably heard of it. They're kind of a big deal. One of the main guy's name is Rudy. He's a collector, and even he said, "I'm not buying this." And he's like the epitome of like greedy collector guy. It's like he is the greedy collector guy online. That is what he does, and he does it very well. So kudos for him, I suppose. But even he, and to be honest, if he had said, "Okay, I'm buying this and I'm hoping to flip it," I have a feeling sales numbers would have been different, because he's talking to hundreds of thousands of people. But
100%.
But even he was like, "This product's a joke. There's absolutely no way." And it's like, he was the target audience. You know?
And even he didn't like it. That says something.
Even he didn't like it. It's like, ooh, yeah, way to miss the mark there, Wizards. Holy cow. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. But yeah, so that one, and on top of that, so it also hurt the reputation of the game.
Yes.
Like, and that's gonna be problematic.
Yeah, because that hits home for us, because this is a game we love, a game we enjoy playing. And when we hear negativity about the game, like, I don't like to speak negatively about the game. It's a game I very much enjoy. I will speak criticism, much like Ham does too. Like, we'll talk criticisms about the game, what we think should be changed or addressed. But when someone outside the game is giving criticism about it, that can really hit home when it's negative criticism about even something we know isn't right for the game. It's not that we're offended or like hurt by it. What hurts is not the comment. What hurts is, yeah, you know what? Even people that don't know or may not be involved in the meta of MTG information are aware of the going on. And that says a lot about a product's influence in a mainstream world.
Yeah. And ultimately, if this game is going to be successful moving forward, we need to maintain the player base that it has, but then expand on it. And Magic is already a very difficult game to get into as a new player. And as cards have just been getting more and more complicated. And the rule book, from what I understand, is, actually, I'm kind of curious how many words it has compared to like the Old Testament. I'm kind of curious about that, because it's a lot. It's a big book. There's a lot of stuff going on within the game. Now, there's a lot of complication and a lot of complexity to make 99% of interactions on the board do the thing you think they should do. You know, so it's actually relatively smooth to handle, given how complicated it is. But Magic's an incredibly complicated game with thousands upon thousands of game pieces, and we're only getting more every year. And so we have this situation where I don't know that the game has ever been less friendly to new players. And that, I think, is going to be the biggest problem. And I really hope that Wizards does some kind of course correction. You know, they recently came out with the Game Nights free-for-all product. That was a whole bunch of starter decks. That thing's a really cool idea. It's like, okay, this is a box. It's a box that is packaged alongside board games at retailers. So you can go down to like Target and find it in the board game aisle. And this is 5 decks that are, I believe, 60 card decks.
Yes,
that teach you the basics of how to play the game. No matter how many of you there are, 2 to 5, you can play the game. and they're relatively straightforward. There's the kobold that makes big dragons.
Yep.
There's the merfolk that does stuff. There's, there's the elf in the green deck. It's like, okay, this is what Magic is at a very fundamental level. These are what you're gonna do. This is how the game functions. We need more stuff like that, which is also what Jumpstart is good for. Like, Jumpstart is a great way to get a new player invested in the game and
100%.
teach them how it works, while also giving enfranchised players an experience that they can enjoy. But that's what Jumpstart 2022 is. By diluting that brand, by adding the name Jumpstart to what were theme boosters, which are the biggest blunder ever, in my opinion. Those were a terrible design. They should never have existed. And they should just... I don't see any reason to keep them around by any.
No, they should be gone. They're taken out. They don't
get rid of
exist.
them.
Yeah.
Nobody wants them. Nobody cares about them. I don't know why they're still here. And I think they were intended to be a new player-friendly starting point.
I believe so, yeah.
I think that was the idea. But why is that a booster product? Why not make starter decks? Which is something that Wizards used to do. My very first deck that I ever played was a 60-card starter deck that I bought off the shelf.
That's how I did it too. And
I know, right?
And those were great. Yeah, they were just simple, quick, and easy ways. Give me a 60-card deck, let me jump in and go. I want to cycle back to the question you had posed. The word count in the Magic the Gathering comprehensive rules versus the Old Testament.
Excellent. What do we got?
On the Magic the Gathering comprehensive rules that are effective as of November 18th, 2022, the total number of word count is 143,836 words spread across 278 pages. The word count in the Old Testament, which is comprised of 929 chapters, is 622,700 words roughly. So we are just a little bit over a sixth the amount of words.
All right. But that kind of illustrates my point, because I said that hyperbolically, because the Old Testament's massive.
It is. But there you go.
The rulebook is like a reasonable percentage of it.
I said the rulebook is 1/6 the amount of words of the Old Testament.
That's amazing. Yeah, they're both big books, folks.
Yes.
We got big books. That's amazing. Thank you for finding that out. That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so Magic, there are a lot of rules. There's a lot of complexity. There's a lot to it. And getting new players invested is going to be difficult. And I think they should bring back 60-card starter decks. I thought they were brilliant. They were great at what they did. And like now we have commander decks, which are kind of doing that. But Commander has a lot of stuff going on. Like, you have Commander damage, you have Commander tax, you have the command zone is its own thing that is like a separate element of the game. So like just sitting down to play a game of Commander versus a game of 60-card Magic, Commander is by nature going to be more complicated. It just is.
They're two different areas.
Yeah. And if you teach somebody, even if you're doing 1v1 Commander to get somebody started, I mean, if you started with 4-player Commander pods, get out of here. I don't even know what happened there. But assuming you're even starting 1v1, if they then wanted to transition into like a standard or modern and get down with like just 60-card 4-of decks, like it would be kind of weird because like, wait a minute, so I don't have a Commander, like I don't have one card that I have access to at all times. Like it's 100% like depending on what I draw. Like, well, yeah.
Oh, I mean, we need to talk about
stuff, but anyway.
We got to talk about Companion, though.
Oh, Companion. Yes. Yes, Companion.
I'm sorry. I just had to make the joke. See, there are commanders in 60 card.
Fair enough. I stand corrected. Yeah. I was like, wait, so I've been playing Commander and I really, really like it. And I want to play Modern. Or no, Modern's a bad example. I want to play Legacy.
Yeah.
So what do I do? It's like, well, here's Yorion. You'll be fine.
Yeah. This is your Commander.
Yeah, I was going to say Modern, but Yorion got the ban in Modern this year. So like, oh, never mind. But yeah. Yeah. Companion. Oh my goodness.
Companion. The whole thing. Thank goodness it wasn't a 2022 product.
Oh, exactly. We can put that one way behind us. Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. Forever. Yeah. I loved Ikoria too. I was really bummed. I thought, and it's funny too, because like, okay, this is like way off topic, but like, so we had Companions, we had Mutate, we had Cycling Return. Like, Ikoria had a ton of fun stuff. And for some reason, people just freaking hated it. Like, I mean, Companion, I understand. Like, people not enjoying that, that's fine. I get it.
Yeah.
But for but like all the different mutate creatures, like I love the way mutate worked.
Oh yeah.
But
Like
yeah, I thought it was great.
flavor wise too, the set was cool. Like that was our first inclusion of triomes. Obviously, the
Yep.
mutate mechanic and a different way of affecting the stack. Cycling really diversifying itself. I think Ikoria set the precedent. I really think for cycling to finally be considered an evergreen mechanic. I think that was
Yeah.
the set that finally did it and they nailed it. Like, hey, we should just have this be evergreen, which Ikoria set a lot of precedents that I don't think people focus on. I agree with you. The connotation people have of it is negative, but it really did bring a lot of good positives to the game, which like let's look. So that was in 2021-ish, right? Or was Ikoria
Yep.
2020?
Or was it 2020? Oh my goodness.
Anyways, before 2022. So you had this inclusion of a set that really set the precedence of things. And since then, going into the 2022 area, we've had more things that they've tried to do correctly but shifted in the wrong direction. I think moving forward, it would be good to see them take some connotations from the earlier 2 years and learn from the overages of this year to make a 2023 product line and 2024 product line that's more streamlined in a way of we don't need all this overage. Let's focus on the key mechanics where we need it and get that out. And I think we're looking at a really good way for Magic to just diversify its player base even more, especially if we get a focus back in on introducing players to a 60 card version while letting them experience the Commander format. Because I'm 100% in agreement. Bringing a new player in to teach Commander, I usually, when I teach a friend Magic and I start with Commander, I have to spend like 2 hours. I have to go over the card types, the card costs, the description of the cards, what Commander is, what is a Commander, the breakdown of the deck, what the deck tries to do, the setup of the game, and heaven forbid I start with a 4-player game. Whereas with 60 carding, and hey, we're going to play these cards and you're going to do this, this, and this. And by like turn 5, they're like, hey, I've got this Broken Wings. I can use that to kill your dragon. And I'm like, why did I give you a card that kills dragons? But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and actually, Ikoria apparently came out in May, April and May of 2020, depending on where you were in the world. Yeah.
That was
So
a
we
while
have May of
ago.
2020 here. Yeah. So not only was it 2020, it was like early 2020.
That feels like so long. Okay, again, but this ties into the product review of 2022. We've had so much product. It feels like things were like not as far back as what they were because everything's been kind of meshed together. We've just gone in such a cycle from the start to the finish of new set, new set, new set, new set. I can't tell when a set began and a set ended. If you asked me X number of years ago when like Mirrodin came out, I could be like, hey, Mirrodin came out in 2002, 2013. That was the Mirrodin era. You know, Time Spiral, we had in the great era of like 2018, like 2017. That was trackable. Sorry, not that long ago. 2007, 2008. That recent. But like there were trackable time frames. Now I could be like, oh man, Ikoria, that was a one-off set. I thought it was 2021. Oh, well, hold no,
Yeah, I
it's
did too.
actually yeah.
No, yeah, I absolutely did too.
Things
And
melt.
it's funny, and I think part of that is, yeah, in 2020, it looks like my camera's oh no, sorry, Discord's being weird. Sorry about that.
Oh, good.
I thought my camera was frozen for a second. In any event, in 2020, releases were far more memorable. You know, I feel like now, like in the last year, definitely, but to be honest, like the last 2 for me,
Yeah.
it's definitely felt like they've all kind of squished together.
Extremely. 100%.
Like when Ikoria came out, when Eldraine came out, they were big events. There was fanfare. It was a big deal, and that were what everyone was talking about. When New Capenna came out, there was fanfare. People were talking about it, but like it had a ton of crazy cards and a ton of cool 3-color stuff going on that was very unique, that existed only in that set and unique to that world. And instead, the thing that I remember from the leading up to the Streets of New Capenna launch was Wizards getting heat because they were encouraging game stores to have some kind of like refreshment halo.
Yeah, the Halo
allegory.
stuff. Yeah,
The
I
Halo
remember
scandal, that whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't remember much about the set per se, but you remember the like negative scandal. But like
Hmm.
Kamigawa, even like Kamigawa,
Yeah.
great thematic set. I don't remember a ton of hype about it.
The, the cinematic trailer was dope. If you had an opportunity to check
It
that out,
was.
the anime trailer was amazing. But exactly, like, and part of the other issue that we haven't really touched on too much today, that's very real, is just the release schedule being so
Yes.
compact. Because one set releases, and like before people get their hands on the cards, they're previewing the next set. So like by the time Neon Dynasty, so going into Neon Dynasty, it was like we got rats and motorcycles and neon lights, and this is the return to the plane that you wanted to see for a long time ago. So we got references to the old stuff too. It's like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be amazing. By the way, mobsters and this new Obnixilis, it's crazy. It's like, wait, I want to see the rats on the motorcycles, but Obnixilis in a pinstripe suit. Like, what, guys? What's going on? Can we slow down, please? By the way, Minsky Boo, go for the eyes. No, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah, and it,
it's
it
just,
got worse. Like
it
dump
never ended.
it didn't. Like
Yeah.
let's look at the last few months too. Dominaria United. We had Dominaria out. Oh, suddenly we're going back in time. It's Brothers War. But wait, Brothers War has only been out for like a month and a half. Here's the new Elvish Nord. And suddenly the new set we're hyping you about, but it's 2 months away. But now you can see the new Elvish Nord.
You know
Like,
what else is absolutely bananas crazy amidst all of that is the period between like May and September. Like that's the other thing that's absolutely insane. We talk about the sheer volume of stuff that is getting injected into our eye holes at all times by Wizards right now. Meanwhile, there is like a 3-month gap in the middle of the year in the summer
yeah. We didn't
when
have a
like
core set.
nothing came out. We were drafting Streets of New Capenna on Arena for literally like 2 months. And if they hadn't released Baldur's Gate onto Arena, which was an alchemy set that most players, I feel like very confident in saying,
Mhm.
most players didn't care about and completely skipped over. Like, that's just like there's just nothing. So that we had months of like nothing going on where people were trying to get excited for Dominaria United, but we hadn't really started spoilers yet, but we knew it was coming. And we had just gotten done with this like Q1 flurry of stuff, and then we had this lull, and then we go into the holiday flurry of stuff. So it almost feels like not only are we getting like 2 years worth of product in 1 year, but it almost feels like we're getting them like in these condensed chunks, like bookending the year. And
Yeah.
it's weird. Like I feel like it needs to be spread out more evenly. Like it just
Oh,
does. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
agree. Like for a successful year, and I hope this is how 2023 goes. We see a much more streamlined product cycle because yeah, like Cam said, it was very much like here's the rice, here's the rice, here's the rice. Oh, product lol. Hey, drafting Titan of Industry for the 15th time again. The product. And now it's like we're still trickling off. So I think like
Mhm.
tying in everything you've heard about us, like there were some cool stuff that did happen this year, some cool stuff of product, but ultimately this was just a ton and too much product. Over
Yeah.
400 legendaries. Every set had a jump start. There was this inclusions of all the extra side sets, and not again. We didn't even touch on secret layers. This was just on the products as is. The sheer volume, and then the disparity between here's a ton of product, and then there's nothing, and then all the product again, and you feel the fatigue. I think 2022 overall was a year of product fatigue. There were some great things that happened, but I think overall I'd say it was a year of product fatigue.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to be fair, actually, now that I'm realizing I'm complaining about the release schedule, if I'm not mistaken, the Warhammer Commander decks, which we didn't even touch on Universes Beyond, that's a whole other
Yes.
thing. Which to be honest, actually, just like real, like my TLDR on that, I think Universes Beyond is actually pretty cool for the game.
Agreed.
I
Yep.
kind of wish it went both ways, because you better believe I would buy the Jace pack in Fortnite if I could, but I can't.
Great.
So here we are.
Give us
Anyway,
Ulamog in Fortnite. Give us Ulamog.
yes, I don't care that I'm a bigger target. This is
Wait,
awesome.
wait, better yet, hand puppet Ulamog in Fortnite.
Or maybe it's like one of the back mods where like it's just kind of like
Yes.
hanging there, flopping around. Oh, that'd be amazing. I'd love it. Yeah, little things like that. Like, why not? It's a recognizable brand. People love it. There's crossover. Anyway, um, But like the Warhammer decks, to get they were originally, I believe, scheduled to be released in like August, like July or August, and they got delayed.
Yeah.
And so as a result, like they dropped right at the same time as Infinity. And so that was really awkward.
Yeah.
So like, but that wasn't really Wizards' fault. That was the supply chain being all cattywampus. So all right, but at the same time, like we still have too much stuff. I believe that point stands. Yeah.
Little less stuff in 23, hopefully, but you know, we might have touched on our listing today of our product review, and I think we've had our criticisms about it. We do like Magic, we still love it, but there are some things to fix for 2023. But you know, coming in tomorrow, we're gonna talk about our top 5 memorable moments and the things we're gonna celebrate for Magic. So
that's gonna be fun. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. And my dude, where can the people find you?
Yeah, so I am primarily on Twitch. That is my home on the internet, twitch.tv/HamHocks42. I'm over on the Twitter as well, at Hocks42 over there. I post things sometimes when I think about it. Or when Wizards puts daily deals that are all pig themed and I get excited, which is the case for today. So you see stuff like that over on the Twitter. Or when I just have a random thought and I just want to vomit it out into the universe. That's where I go for that. That's what it's for, right? Anyway.
I think so.
Yeah. So at Hawk42, twitch.tv/HamHocks42. I stream Monday through Friday. I stream in the mornings primarily if you're in the United States or on this side of the world. If you're in, well, the other side of the world, it might be your evening. But 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is, about when I start every day, Monday through Friday. I'm looking to expand that stream schedule in the not too distant future. We'll see how that goes. But the big event that I hold every single week on my channel is Fight Me Friday, which on Friday's stream, you can actually challenge me to a duel. It's absolutely free. You can literally just challenge me to a duel. There is a line, so you have to wait your turn, but it's your format of your choice. Bring whatever you want. And so if you want to say, hey, that one streamer, yeah, I totally whipped him. That's a service I offer. You can do that. So
Wait, I can say that?
You can. Actually, I think we've played a couple games. I think you have taken me down pretty handily in most of them. So
I think our record is 5-3. I think I'm up by 2 wins. I may or may not be keeping track, but that's only because if chat wins, you have to give them free pizza.
I do. Yes, exactly. I owe chat so much pizza. Oh my goodness, so much pizza.
Hey, remember, you didn't promise a delivery date. You just said free pizza.
It's true. So I will. Okay, new promise to all my chat out there. Everyone who's beaten me, I will give you a free pizza when the Magic Netflix show launches.
Watch it suddenly next month. Be like, new Magic Netflix show finally.
He's like, wait, no.
That'd be too good.
So, Astros, how about you, my friend? Where can people find you?
Y'all
what can they expect to see when they get there?
Yeah, y'all can find me at Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm getting slowly back into posting. YouTube's been a little bit more regular now, and I'm going to start doing some YouTube shorts and get some TikTok stuff rolling again too. I usually stream Tuesday, Wednesdays, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, always starting around 6 p.m. So I'm kind of at the opposite schedule of him. I don't do the mornings, I do the nights. So we got your mornings and nights going. Got you covered.
Whenever you want some landlords, we got you. Yeah.
That's it. And I'm doing the Jund and the Dragon thing with some weird and different brews. Trying to hit up things outside the meta because I don't want people always playing the same stuff. So I'm trying to think. I had a really interesting clip the other day. I gotta send it over to you, Ham. I'll sailboat soapbox. I'll soapbox for like 30 seconds. I had a game where I actually melded Mishra twice in a best of 3. And then won me game 2 and 3 both times. My opponent literally in the last game, I had Mishra out and the Phyrexian Dragon Engine in the graveyard. I was ready to unearth it. I'm like, Mishra's last card in hand. I just drop it down. They have to tap their Bankbuster and draw a card. They go to their next turn. They have to tap it again to draw a card. They don't find the card to remove the Mishra. I unearth the Dragon Engine. I get them to meld. I'm like, they got something in hand. I don't know what it is, but nope, no prior. They passed the priority. I don't know what it was. And melding Mishra won me the game against a mono white wedding announcement control deck. So
it's amazing.
It felt good.
Those are the best moments when you attack for lethal and it pauses for a second. It's like, okay, what do they got? Wham! Nothing? No way.
It was great.
It's the best.
It was.
Love it.
If you love checking out those moments, honestly, check out Ham, check out myself, hit us up. We are your landlords. So drop us a follow, subscribe, get in on the next action and the heads up on our next listing. And like I just said, we are your landlords. So until next time, We'll see you then.